in April, and I bought myself a T-shirt, the things that I would normally never do, but I had to commemorate having a COVID quarantined birthday month, and it was an April Aries, T-shirt.
Oh.
So I get it. I'm with you. It's so true. And there are a lot of people doing really well at this. Thank you. Woohoo. Yes. I took a walk with my dogs, and, I spent time with my kids, but it's really, really true. It's the new phenomena. But at the same time that there's a lot of inundation of garbage. So for 30 years, even with the reason I'm into cannabis and hemp and holistic healthcare, I have been studying various, from shamanic modalities to, new age quantum physics inspired modalities. That's my world. I've been in it for a long time. So something resonated recently with me when I was introduced to something called the Healy device, Healy. So we'll put it out. Okay. I'm just going to I'm hosting a webinar on Wednesday, so if people want more information, we're going to be tissue, which is the foundation of what this energy frequency device is, between science and spirituality. So think about it this way. We have devices now. There's a technology that's existed for 30 years. It was called Time Waver. It's the current version is a much, much, much smaller and a little more affordable device, like half the size of your cell phone, but it's based on the same technology that's been around for a long time, and people know it by different names. They know it by Time Waver. They know the RIFE machine. They've heard of the Beamer mat. They're kind of similar in that what they're talking about is how the body needs energy frequencies to adjust and heal itself. And if you know one thing about our systems, the reason we need aromatherapy and cannabinoids and all this, but at the core, what we're really taking in is the energy frequency of those compounds, right? We are energy.
Right.
At the very, very center of every atom, every cell, it's energy. It's water. It's the ability to imprint emotions on the water in our bodies. So that's the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto from years ago. So anyone who's ever been around quantum physics, energy healing, any of these other devices, this might already be somewhat familiar, and it is to me. But what I loved about this particular version is that it's coming out, it just came out in the U.S. May 1st. So it's very, very new here. And it's the only, which I found surprising, the FDA actually did something I'm proud of them for, which is they approved this device as a Class 2 medical device, as on a direct sales platform, which is very unusual. So I have to think that, again, as we are at humanity's reset point, finally, there are modalities and there are things that people can share directly, and we can really look at the core of what it is to be a spiritual being having a human experience in a physical body. And the only thing from my late father, who was he was an early neuroscience expert. He actually created a field that became neuroscience called the biological basis of behavior. So again, I was raised both metaphysically and very scientifically. I have a foot in both worlds. That's why I love this so much. He taught me that the body always responds perfectly to whatever stimulus it receives. Now, by perfectly, I don't mean it's a great response, but I mean it's a perfect response. It's appropriate to whatever the stimulus is. So if we have toxins, if we're eating badly, if there's environmental junk, if there's emotional junk, if we're sequestered with people we're not totally digging, there are all these, responses. The stimulus comes in, our systems respond perfectly, but that perfect response is sometimes really not so great. So what can we do? It always comes back to what can we do to elevate, to inspire, to educate, to connect, to heal, to transmute and transcend that stimulus. And that's what energy does. So I'm a big believer in a combination of quantum physics, bioenergetics, and 5D hardcore energy healing. And that's what Healy does. It's a combination of science and spirituality at a time where we absolutely need it. So if you think about, if I can sell, or give somebody my CBD or my aromatherapy, excellent, here you go, use it all day long. If I can also transmute the energy of that CBD, if I can do an energy healing, if I can transmit it on a frequency to you, because I can't see you, I can't get to you, that would be taking what I do and elevating it to the nth degree. And that's what Healy can do.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal reality that the FDA has recognized this. I mean, that's just absolutely astounding. It's almost
right?
almost like, yeah, It's like,
well, here's the funny
why?
part. They didn't totally recognize. They only recognize it and categorize it as a class 2. They're very specific in the language. That's why I'm saying I'm running a webinar. We don't record the webinars because we have people sharing stories that the FDA would not be totally fond of. But people are very real when they talk to me personally. So that's why I do conversations, so we're careful to not make any, we're not making certain medical claims. I'm talking theoretics about the science, and you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. So it's more about appreciate that it was approved for certain conditions and things, but the same problem we have in cannabis and hemp. We're not allowed to legally say certain things, but you just have to know what you have to know. And you experience what you experience, and it'll be self-evident.
Right, and it's individual. It's like anything energetically. It's individual upon the individual's energy. So the reception of the individual is going to receive it either stronger or less depending upon their, assimilation of it. So it's for me, I really see this as, quite a validation to energy medicine. I mean, really, because it's like that. It's that next step of where we're going in how we look at how viruses, how illness affects the body, and it all comes in energetically.
Right.
So
and actually, on my webinar on Wednesday, it's my 27th. People can just email me, and I'll send you the link. They can just write an email to shirasynergystore@gmail.com. I will tell you that the person I'm interviewing, Lisa, you're going to love him. He has 5 degrees, 2 PhDs. The second is from Harvard Medical School, but he also had 2 near-death experiences. So this man is like me. He is medically, metaphysically, and scientifically grounded in both. But he's literally one of the world's best atomic physicists. This man understands energy better than any human I know. And he is going to be with me on the call. So we are going to really get into some really interesting discussions, because this device and all of what we do through our products and all that, it is about energy frequencies. And this device has so far 144,000 frequencies. So imagine being able to not just take your good supplement or take your, whatever you do in your daily life and in your home to have a holistic, clean lifestyle, but be able to say, I need to boost the cannabis frequency. I need the chamomile frequency. I need and even if you don't know, a device that can scan you in real time and read. So it's just the most extraordinary tool. And I'm so grateful that at this time, when we need it most, we now have this growing information, whether it's cannabis and hemp, any holistic nutritional aspects. I mean, really, this goes mind, body, spirit in a way nothing in my life I've ever seen like it.
Well, I can feel your energy. I mean, your energy is contagious. So tell us again when this is. When is this interview? When are you going to be talking?
Yeah, I'll send anyone information. So the webinar is this Wednesday coming up. So we're recording now that's May 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is a little late for the East Coast people, but that's because we have a gentleman who's a naturopath in the Philippines, so it's 8 a.m. his time, and he's going to be sharing some remarkable information. So we do pull people from all over the world to talk about these things in a very in-depth way, and it's really, I'm just so honored to be a part of any healing movement that I feel like finally we can do things that we've never been able to do before. And for people like us who've been for 20, 30 years working to help take care of the human race. And remember, I believe strongly we are stewards of each other in this planet. But I will tell you that Kai, my scientist, his spiritual name is Meta-Kai. I call him Kai for short, but his real name is Dr. Sean Clark. And he told me, he said, Shira, do you understand that we've always been taught everything in the universe in terms of law of physics tends to decay and rot. But we're also taught that everything has an equal and opposite reaction. So what is the opposite reaction of decay and rot and death? It's unity. It's synergy and symmetry and longevity and connectedness. And why don't we talk about that? So really, that's the foundation of what I've been doing my entire life. And he said, a virus can be disassembled. And I said, I'm sorry, say that again? And he's going to talk about that on the webinar Wednesday. A virus can be disassembled. Your body does have the ability to break a virus down naturally in its own forms. So that
wow.
is why I'm like, oh, that takes what I do and elevates it a little to the nth degree. And that's why I want to start doing these. I'll share the information. People should just reach out on email or contact me through social media at the one Shira Adler, THE1, and my full name. And I'm excited because now I'm like, we have cannabinoids and we have people looking to elevate and take care of each other and connect to each other. And now we have energy frequency device. I mean, this is, as much as this is a dark time for the planet, it's also an opportunity.
Right.
And that's what I hope. I hope we get woke.
And I love that. Yeah, I do too. I love how you're shining the light and holding on to it and looking at this in the perspective of what we are bringing into this change rather than what we're losing, because there's so much focus and fear and emphasis upon the change being a loss and moving away from things and not having life resume as it was. But there's so much in this that I really feel is, you know, out of necessity births genius, right? So we've got
Absolutely.
all these pieces that are, you know, coming together out of necessity. And I really see more of the optimism, more of where we can go and grow. This being an obvious piece right here, what you're talking about today, because this is something that exposes us and opens us up to hope. It opens us up to integration. It opens us up to expansion, and it's an energy that can be measured. So you've got the science coming and marrying the spirit, you know, and who doesn't love that? You know, who doesn't love quantum physics, like just showing up and marrying the whole science spirit thing going on? It's just, I you know, to me, that's life. You know, to me, that's just how life is. So
to me too, that's exactly the point, right? And you know what you just said, I thought it was so interesting. I don't want to diminish, nor absolutely, like I said, I live in an area that's been pretty hard hit. Every day I was getting emails. And I do want to honor and recognize the loss is real. It's substantial. There are a lot of souls leaving the planet, but those are, you know, as I say, because I'm a past life regressionist, right, have been for many years, the greatest catalyst for growth is pain, suffering, and challenge. It's the only reason we incarnate into physical form is to have certain experiences. And tragedy and trauma bring people together and cause paradigm shifts in how they think. So we honor and respect, and we miss, and we're grateful to the lives and the people that are on a soul level leaving this planet. And yes, it's pretty difficult on a human brain level, but look what we're gaining. We're gaining the opportunities. We're gaining new experiences. We're also gaining simplicity again. We're focusing on community farms. We're focusing on growing some food in our backyards. We're focusing on spending more time with our children. We're doing things in the world, and animals are taking back pockets of the world. There are some really funny WhatsApp videos floating around where you see literally penguins walking down the streets in South Africa and just all kinds of things we'd never thought we'd experience. And even the fish coming back in the canals in Venice, and the skies over China being cleared for the first time in God knows how many decades. Ozone holes, you know, clearing up and closing. There are things that are so remarkable and beautiful that it is the balance and the duality of all things.
It's the balance. It is the balance. And we were forced to do it. It's absolutely astounding that planet, we came together for a global fix. And I think that as we see India, you know, the Himalayas, and we see, you know, LA's skies blue, and we see these little miracles, you know, that we've created and co-created with God, with essence, with energy, with spirit, with force, with all of this is something we are capable of. And so, you know, your introduction into these little safe pieces for people that we're talking about, you know, like, hey, it's okay. You're not going to lose your mind in a, you know, hypnotic trance of euphoria if you take CBD for anxiety. It's okay. Or, you know, you tap into the Healy energy system of transformation and being able to actually create more of a positive change. So, I love how life offers these opportunities. And